Yeah, it is working. Well, thank you, Fran. If you allow me, I would like to offer a couple of comments and then ask one specific question. The first one is that we fully understand and share the disappointment of the services industry with what the state of the negotiation on services in the Doha rounds and with the offers that are on the table. One, for the importance that services have in our modern economies, and that was very well illustrated by Ambassador Kirk's speech. Secondly, because there is more scope for trade liberalization in services than in goods. Yet the DDA so far has not delivered to the expectations that the industry had for this round. So the question is, how can we do, what can we do to get out of this log jam? Certainly, we should not forget the other areas of the DDA. I think it would be illusory, even if today we are only in a services world this morning, but we need to fix the other areas of the DDA where clarity is needed, in particular from the side of the United States. But on services itself, I think it's important, it's crucial to bring services to center stage. It has been so far the poor cousin in the DDA market access negotiations, left behind, and services need to be brought to center stage for the DDA to succeed. What is needed for that, and Lord Brittan mentioned that, is the industry to speak up. It's crucial in Uruguay round. If you remember, the telecom financial services to a large extent succeeded because there was a major push and support on the industry side. So you have a key role to play here today in pushing forward at the political level the importance of treating services on equal footing with the other two market access negotiations in the door. We need to aim to an ambitious but realistic deal. And for that, we need to think different ways. Certainly the idea that was being promoted by the United States on clusters. It's a good one so that we can focus on a number of key sectors that are important for the development of economies, both in developing countries and developed ones. We need to treat the interests of everyone. We cannot be selective. We have to attend to the different interests of the different members in the WTO. But we should probably aim to have as a starting point to bind the liberalization that is already run out there and to top it up with new access. Sometimes I know that binding liberalization is seen as not sufficiently well. To a great extent, trading services to a great deal is about is investment in services. And investment is about legal security, and that's what binding liberalization is all about. So I think there would be tremendous value to have that as a starting point, but aiming to have top-up further liberalization, new access in a number of sectors that are considered to be the crucial ones for economic development. And here is my question. I would like to address it to Minister Sharma. India is seen, and it's the reality, as a country that has major interest in the services negotiation. To bring services more center stage in the DDA, you need to get out of the logic developing countries split. And I think India here has a major role to play because you could be much more proactive in pushing the services. And I think that will be extremely important contribution from having India as a partner in this effort to bring services more to the center. Will India ready to do that, to participate in such an effort? That's what I would like to ask.
Mr. Emerson. You see, let me put things in a broader perspective. The present round of the WTO negotiations are crucial for the global commerce as such, the market access, both for the developing and the developed countries. the centrality of multilateralism in this process has to be underscored again. The round as such is dedicated to development. So that dimension must never be forgotten. There are expectations of countries to benefit from the successful conclusion of the Doha round of the WTO, both the developing countries as well as the developed economies, particularly among the developing, the poor and the NDCs. Then only the larger objective of the developmental centrality will be served. It's not a question of delinking only because of the size of the economy and the size of a country. We have to work together. It's a larger coalition. It's true that there are countries which have been identified who are principal stakeholders in driving this process. The United States of America, EU, China, Brazil, India, Indonesia, South Africa. These countries are playing their role. When it comes to the services sector, we have seen exponential growth in the services sector in the last 2 decades. Not that the services sector did not play an important role in the development, in industrialization, it did. But before the IT revolution, it was felt that the demand as such, the growth in services sector, would be driven domestically. But things have changed because services are not restricted by time and space. They are transportable, they are tradable, except for the behind the border issues when it comes to the movement of professionals. At the click of a button, you can send to a distant corner of this globe what otherwise in merchandise may take a long, long time to cumbersome paperwork and exercise. So services as such, as we've seen, is creating a knowledge bridge. So we live in an interconnected world. When we are talking of trade negotiations, through the services sector will be a driver, major driver, even for countries like India, which we have seen in our own country services sector increasingly play a major role. As I mentioned, more than 50% of our GDP. Services sector, particularly the IT sector in India, will be more than $230 billion in the next couple of years. And will employ a large number of people. We will have 200 million people joining the workforce in the next 10 years. And 40 million jobs will be created by the IT sector. So that's why India is more than willing to work along with others to take it to a successful conclusion. As we said, we had agreed, we had reached a consensus to have a horizontal difference, whether it's the negotiations in agriculture, on NAMA, and on services, to be taken forward, so that the negotiations on the WTO can be concluded as a single undertaking and not in a piecemeal manner. That would send a very powerful message to the world as such. Also, this vision that we can move forward only in one, not looking at the others, will not be able to give the desired traction or momentum to the other countries. There are more than 150 countries involved in the negotiations. As I said last evening, coming from different levels of development, challenges are different, aspirations are different. And the bigger economies have to play their own role. Services, particularly the IT, has moved professionals up the value chain, tens of millions of them. And at a time when the global economy is emerging out of the crisis, which was the worst in the last 7 decades, we have to look at the critical role which the services sector will play. And to conclude, I will say that we are for an early conclusion, a successful conclusion of the WTO negotiations. We are convinced that putting in place a rule-based multilateral